Welcome back to another episode of Community Capital. My name is Rob Johnson. We have another great show for you today. Joining me in studio is David Lawrence. He is a personal trainer at MECA Personal Training. David, welcome to the studio.
Hey, thanks so much. Appreciate it.
So, personal training is a relatively broad category. You have solopreneurs, you have people that go and start companies, and then you have people that have done it for a long time and have been extremely seasoned. So, in your case, you're more of the latter. You've been doing this over 15 years. You've built a relatively large company here in the state. So just for people that aren't familiar with the brand or you, just give me a 60-second rundown of who David Lawrence is.
Yeah, I'm a failed gym teacher. So those.
I will say that's the best intro.
Yeah,
I've heard thus far.
Though I don't know if you ever heard. Those who cannot do teach, and those who cannot teach gym. And if you can't teach gym, you become a personal trainer. So that's me. I absolutely love it. I think it's the best job. I played football at Central Michigan University and played with a lot of, we had a lot of great teams that won 2 championships, played with a lot of guys that played in the NFL, but I wasn't good enough to play in the NFL. So I wanted to coach football. My dad was a teacher and I wanted to coach coach football, teach PE, and I couldn't pass Math 105, basic algebra. I failed it 4 times. And so option C was to be a personal trainer, and it's actually been the best career for me. Absolutely love it. Personal training gives me the most joy getting to work with people. It's a great career. It's really rewarding. So yeah, I love it.
What's made you stay in that field as long as you have?
Yeah, the average, that's a good question. The average lifespan for a personal trainer is about 9-10 months. And so there's several reasons for that. And basically the business that I built it for myself as a trainer. Like what would I want as a personal trainer? And so, but why personally I've stayed in the field, and I don't think I'll ever actually do anything else, is I love people. I'm really good working with people on my feet. I couldn't compete in a classroom. I don't do well sitting at a desk. So I do much better with, just better interacting with people. And then most trainers leave the profession because they can't make enough money. And the trainers that do make enough money are better at selling themselves than actually training people. And they're 2 different skill sets. So that's like a really big problem in our space, and that's why a lot of good trainers don't stay, is because the best trainers are very empathetic. They're very they have really good interpersonal skills. A lot of them are just obsessed with the craft of training and really getting people into shape. But there's a side that usually you have to sell yourself because you're kind of on your own. And for the business that we've built, our trainers never have to sell. We bring in all the business, and what we do is we just teach them how to be really, really good trainers, and we support them on their career journey. So when someone comes in with us, we actually give them a full salary, and then they have a ramp way to make a lot more after that. But what we also do is we give them full benefits. So like health insurance for their whole family, 401k, PTO, the whole thing, right? And just try to make it a real job, because in our space, that's not normal. And so then we're able to get our trainers to stay and really do something that they love, and they can put all of their energy into their craft and into the person in front of them.
So that sounds pretty uncommon compared to most, personal training outfits. Typically it's contractors or a network of people, and then, it's based on business volume. So how have you split that dichotomy of people that, can't sell but are fantastic trainers, and people that can sell but don't train well? How have you found that balance and then built a corporate structure around it?
So everything comes back for us for our product. So, if you can produce results, you're going to get referrals. And so that's how we started building our business. And then as we've grown, we've increased like our other capacities, like things that you have to do to grow the business, like sales, marketing, operations, finance, HR, legal components that run a business. But at the beginning of the business, and the majority of our clients that we get still come from referrals. Say, hey, I had a great experience with these people. They've really changed my life. You should give them a try. And so that's how we've grown the business. But what we do is we have a certain type of person that works really, really well in our company. and we screen for them. So they're at the end of the day, we have a lot of things we look for, but the one word that would describe them is they care a lot. And so we don't care if they sell or not. We've got a side of the business that really does a good job for them. And so we just bring in people who we think can be really good trainers that really care about the person in front of them.
So going back, 15, 17 years, is this what you envisioned when you started out, is building, this large of an organization around personal training? Or was it more you were going to take the solo route and then this just kind of happened organically?
So when I started training, I was actually working in Chicago and I loved it. I loved the job. I actually didn't want to do anything else. But what I found was the business that I was working for had some issues. It was run really, I would say it was run pretty poorly. Most small businesses struggle a little bit. I mean, there's so many things you have to be good at and not one person can do everything.
Right.
I have like a really, really good team and they're really the reason why the business is doing as well as it's doing. So I wanted to, I was working in Chicago. My wife and I, we were having our first child and we're like, hey, let's move back to Michigan and be close to family. And I wanted to get a job as a personal trainer. But nobody was hiring. And so, out of necessity, I, started the business, got a little warehouse. I think it was in Wixom, Michigan at the time. In 2012, it was $1,300 a month in rent. And started there. And from there, we've grown. So, yeah.
And how did you arrive at the name MECA? Because it's an acronym, right?
Yeah, I don't know. I was just doodling, and it was the first thing that came to my mind. Michigan Elite Conditioning for Athletes. So that was, and it's really evolved. I started training a lot of athletes. That's how I started. And then they're like, they'd have like their wives or their girlfriends or maybe a mom would be like, hey, like, can you help them out? I'm getting really good results, but you really help with my nutrition and you've really, helped with my lifestyle things. I think this would really benefit somebody else. So that's actually how the business started. My first client or athlete was a guy named Nick Ballore. He's actually still in the NFL. He's on his 17th year in the NFL. So,
wow.
And he was undrafted. I played football with him in college at Central Michigan University, but he's made 2 Pro Bowls and just had a great career. And he referred me one person and then another person was referred and it just kind of snowballed from there.
Yeah. Took on a life of its own.
Yeah.
Is it wild to look back to where things are at now compared to when you started? Do you ever do a comparison of like, man, it's been a pretty wild ride?
So I don't look back very much. I'm more forward thinking. I'm just a person that I'll look back in the past and be like, hey, you know what? Like I've grown this much. So when I was 30, this is how many sessions we were doing, or this is how many, like our revenue and this is how many employees we had. And I always think that the future is going to be bigger and better than the past. I don't look back at the past. For some people, the past is really, really good. And then for other people, the past has been full of disappointment and maybe a little latter.
Sure.
So even though there's good things, I think that's just how my brain works. Yeah.
So on that, as you look at the next 10 years, what do you want?
Yeah. So I'm really happy, but what I would really, really like is our society is like really struggling like in physical decay with, there's just so many, different things going on. And I love what we do. I think the amount of people that we've been able to help and change their life has been really, really cool. And so I would love to help more people. And I'd also love to help more trainers. There's a lot of really, really good people out there that love personal training. They can't make a living at it. We have quite a few trainers that make over $100,000 working for us, which is really, really cool. The average personal trainer in Michigan who's full-time, the last stat I saw was like 28 grand a year. And
wow.
Yeah, full-time. So you really can't raise a family on that, or you can't. So we've really set up the business to really help them be successful. And, after 3 years as a trainer, we're working with us. They're going to be making good money. Or probably won't be a good fit.
So looking at that, so why do you think more organizations in the personal training space haven't adopted that business model, or why is it so uncommon?
It's so tough. There's a lot of issues with it. Number one is you have to have a really good product and you have to have standards. That's not really being done. A lot of the original business, remember when CrossFit was really big?
Oh yeah.
There's a lot of CrossFit people that are still charging the same that they charged in 2010. And they would just feel really bad about raising prices on their clients. But I know like quite a few gyms have gone out of business because they're not just keeping up with basic inflation, not even increasing the standard of living for themselves or increasing the quality that they can provide in the gym. I think, again, a lot of the best trainers are just very empathetic to the client. That's what makes them a great trainer. But it's hard for them to pull the trigger on business decisions that they feel could negatively affect the client. And so I'm actually like that a lot. That's why I just have somebody else really help me. I know what I'm good at. And then I have someone else, really run the day-to-day of the business. So, yeah.
In the last 5 years, what's been the most rewarding thing that you've worked on?
I think where we are right now, where the business is running on a day-to-day basis really smooth, is like really, really cool. I think that's cool. And then I think when our employees buy homes and have kids and get married, that's probably my favorite thing. Yeah, like you guys are really doing it. That's awesome. Yeah, and I see a lot of them start at 22, 25, 27, and, they're 30s, my age, and they're really established and doing really well. And that's probably the most rewarding thing for me.
Yeah, I completely agree. There's, we have just a little bit over 20 people here, and that is my favorite part as the owner is seeing all the life changes and where people started. And it is hands down the best part about owning a company.
That's awesome.
So, 100%. So if someone wants to work with you guys, what is your preferred, entry method for them getting a hold of you?
Yeah, they just go to our website. Everything runs through our website. It's www.mecastrong.com, MECAStrong.com. So mecastrong.com. Yeah.
All right. And then David, is there anything else you want the listeners to know before we close today?
No, I love, Brighton's a great community. It's awesome. Just really, really good people here, work hard. My family and I moved here 3 years ago, and it's probably one of the coolest places to raise kids and just be part of a great community. It's awesome. It's a huge blessing to raise kids here.
I love that. All right. Well, we'll make sure all of your information for your business is in the show notes. And I really appreciate you coming to the studio today, David.
Thanks so much, Rob. Appreciate it.
Absolutely. All right, everybody, that's going to wrap up this week's edition of Community Capital. We certainly appreciate you watching. If you want to learn more about MECA, go ahead and check out the show notes. Apart from that, we'll catch you next week with a new episode. Take care.